Shocking uprising. Poilievre soars in Yahoo polls as Liberals caught in shocking China police scandal in Quebec. Canadians are facing one of the most electrifying elections in recent memory, marked by rising voter turnout, intense debates, and a volatile political landscape. A major new poll from Yahoo News, boasting over 50,000 participants, signals a seismic shift in Canadian politics, suggesting that the desire for change is sweeping across the nation. With turnout higher than ever before, Canadians are making their voices heard, and the results are shaking the very foundation of the current political order. The Yahoo News poll is one of the largest in Canadian history, with its 50,000-strong sample size dwarfing those of traditional polling firms, which typically gather responses from 3,000 to 5,000 individuals. This massive response speaks to a growing political urgency that cannot be ignored. Across the country, long lines at advanced polling stations have been reported, reinforcing the sense that Canadians are not only interested in this election but are highly motivated to participate. The level of engagement is unprecedented, and it is clear that voters are demanding a change in leadership. Whether it's the rising costs of living, concerns over immigration, or national security issues, people are hungry for solutions, and they are eager to make their voices count. The poll results show a fierce battle between Pierre Poilievre, leader of the Conservative Party, and Mark Carney, the new leader of the Liberal Party and current Prime Minister. According to Abacus data, Poilievre is leading with 43% support, narrowly ahead of Carney at 40%. Meanwhile, Main Street Research reports a similarly tight race, with the Liberals at 42% and the Conservatives at 40.6%. With such a small margin, it's clear that this election is shaping up to be one of the closest in recent history. The battle for Quebec has also become a focal point of this election, with the Bloc Québécois gaining traction in the polls. Recent French-language debates have played a significant role in shaping the dynamics in the province. Bloc leader Yves-François Blanchet delivered a strong performance, making inroads with Quebec voters and capitalizing on Carney's underwhelming showing. In fact, Carney's struggle in the debates has opened the door for the Bloc to claim a larger share of the Quebec vote, which could prove critical in determining the outcome of the election. Carney, despite being a seasoned political figure, appears to have failed to connect with Quebec's electorate as effectively as his rivals. The youth vote is another demographic that is up for grabs in this election. Traditionally, younger voters, particularly those aged 18 to 34, have leaned toward the Liberals, but the current polling shows a more divided electorate. In fact, the race among youth voters is a dead heat, with both Poilievre and Carney vying for their support. This shift is particularly notable given the widespread dissatisfaction with the Liberal government's handling of housing issues. While young voters are often idealistic and focused on progressive policies, the skyrocketing cost of housing, particularly in cities like Toronto and Vancouver, has soured many on the Liberal Party's track record. The rising affordability crisis has left many feeling left behind, and Poilievre's message of economic reform, including promises to address housing costs, has resonated with a significant portion of the youth vote. Despite these challenges, university graduates still lean toward the Liberals, though the gap is narrowing. This demographic, which has traditionally been more supportive of progressive policies, is beginning to rethink its allegiance as issues of affordability, economic opportunity, and social stability take center stage. The Conservatives, once considered the party of rural and working-class Canadians, are seeing increased support from voters outside urban centers, including those from working-class backgrounds. These shifts in voting patterns suggest that Poilievre's conservative message is finding a broader base of support, particularly among those who feel neglected by the status quo. Debates have also played a pivotal role in shaping public opinion. In the English-language debate, Poilievre decisively outperformed Carney, with 58% of respondents indicating they believed Poilievre had the stronger showing, compared to just 39% for Carney. This clear victory in the debates helped to solidify Poilievre's position in the race and has made it harder for Carney to maintain the momentum he needs to secure victory. Even in the French-language debate, Poilievre managed to maintain a commanding lead, with 61% of respondents in his corner. His ability to perform well in both official languages has become one of his key advantages, especially in a country as linguistically divided as Canada. While Poilievre's debate performances have given him a clear advantage, the issues that have dominated the election so far are the ones that have truly fueled the fire. Affordability, particularly the rising cost of living, remains a top concern for Canadians. Immigration, national security, and Canada's relationship with its allies are also pressing issues, but it is the economic challenges facing everyday Canadians that are commanding the most attention. Poilievre's emphasis on addressing these concerns head-on, with promises to cut taxes and reduce government spending, has made him particularly appealing to voters frustrated by the Liberals' handling of the economy. However, the Liberals are facing a far more serious issue than just the economy. A scandal has rocked the party, and it's one that could have severe consequences for their chances in this election. A Liberal MP was recently revealed to have invited the head of an alleged Chinese police station to a private fundraiser. This group, which has received $200,000 in federal funding, is under investigation by the RCMP for potential ties to Beijing's influence operations in Canada. The group, based in Montreal, is suspected of being part of a broader Chinese effort to intimidate Chinese-Canadian dissidents and silence critics of the Chinese Communist Party. The fact that such a group received federal funds raises serious questions about the Liberal Party's approach to national security and foreign influence. To make matters worse, the group in question is reportedly linked to China's United Front, a propaganda arm of the Chinese government. This has raised alarm bells, particularly given Canada's ongoing concerns over foreign interference in its democratic processes. The controversy surrounding the Liberal Party's connections to these groups has prompted outrage from both the public and political opponents, with many asking why the government continues to fund organizations with such questionable ties. Mark Carney's handling of the situation has done little to quell the controversy. In a recent interview, Carney attempted to defend the government's actions by citing his own security clearance and referencing China's growing geopolitical influence. However, many Canadians were left unsatisfied by his explanations, particularly as he failed to address the core issue at hand. Why was the government continuing to fund organizations linked to foreign influence operations? Carney's response was widely seen as evasive, and it only intensified suspicions about the Liberal government's approach to national security. The scandal has fueled growing frustration among voters, many of whom are questioning whether the Liberals are truly capable of protecting Canadian interests in an increasingly complex global landscape. With national security concerns top of mind for many voters, Carney's failure to address these issues head-on may have cost the Liberals crucial support. Meanwhile, the media landscape is also playing a role in shaping the election narrative. Traditional media outlets, including the CBC, are facing increasing criticism for their biased reporting. A recent example of this came when CBC was caught spreading false information about conservative commentator Ezra Levant, claiming that his journalistic credentials had been revoked. Levant quickly debunked the claims, providing proof that his credentials remained intact. This incident has fueled suspicions about the media's reliability, with many Canadians turning to alternative sources of news in search of more balanced reporting. The erosion of trust in legacy media, coupled with the ongoing scandals within the Liberal Party, is helping to fuel a growing sense of disillusionment with the current political establishment. Canadians are increasingly looking for leadership that is transparent, accountable, and focused on their real-world concerns, qualities that they believe Poilievre and the Conservative Party can deliver. As the election draws closer, the momentum is clearly shifting. Canadians are becoming more engaged, and the political landscape is evolving rapidly. Poilievre's strong performances in the debates, his focus on affordability and national security, and the growing dissatisfaction with the Liberal government's handling of key issues suggest that change may be on the horizon. The Liberals, meanwhile, are grappling with a scandal that could have long-lasting consequences, while their leader, Mark Carney, struggles to regain control of the narrative. With so much at stake, Canadians will soon have the chance to decide whether the status quo remains or whether a new direction is needed. The winds of change are blowing strong, and the election's outcome will ultimately shape the future of Canada for years to come. It's clear that this is an election like no other, and one that will leave a lasting mark on the country's political landscape.